Welcome to Financial Independence 101, the place where you go to get motivated to earn money, save money, invest money, and become financially independent. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to talk to you about my 10 ways I like to be cheap. So I'm going to share with you 10 of the things I did to save some money over time. And I want to also say that once you've done these things for a long time, you live this type of lifestyle, then you really don't have to go back to a wasteful spending. I'm going to open your eyes. Hopefully you take a few things away and have a change of mindset. Now, a lot of my friends made fun of me all along the way, and I was the butt of a joke because I saved money doing these things. But guess what? I live the life that I want to now, and I'm very happy about it, and I have no regrets. So looking at the first off, eating out or dining out. Now, with 24 years in the restaurant industry, I do understand with a markup on food and how much more expensive it is to make it or sell it at the restaurant than it is to make it at home. And so dining out is the first one I want to talk about. Now, we're going to get into some of this in here. With the dining out, you have to look at it as what it really is. And it is completely 100% unnecessary. You find yourself eating at a restaurant or a diner or something like that, it is 100% unnecessary. You could have cooked at home. First tip from a 24-year restaurateur, the beverage. I always order water. If I do go to a restaurant, because hey, I do go several times a year. I don't go every day. I certainly don't go every week, and maybe once or twice a month, because it's a waste of money in my opinion. And when you look at this, order water, because there is a markup on beverages. You think about the cost of the little bit of drink that you're drinking, and you're paying $2, almost $3 for a soda. Maybe you get it refilled once or twice, but still, you go get a 2-liter for $1. See, restaurants make a lot of money on beverages. In fact, that's one of the highest margin items that they sell. Next thing I want to talk about is clothing. Now, one thing I stopped doing decades ago is buying clothes at a mall or a department store, because to me it's just a waste of money. This stuff's so expensive. Yeah, you catch some sales, and once in a while there's a shirt now and then, but the reality is I have enough shirts. I mean, look at these shirts. I got plenty of shirts. I got plenty of pants. In fact, I have so much clothes I don't know what to do with it. And guess what? Most of it I bought for $5 or $7 on clearance. And yes, I will splurge and buy 3 shirts when they're $5 because I like them. And then I might wear 1 or 2 of them over the course of the year or so, mixed in with all of my other stuff. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not a slave to fashion, but men's fashion doesn't change that much. Women's fashion doesn't change nearly as much as you would think. And the reality of it is, who has to keep up with all of the trends? Hey, everything old is new again, right? By the way, when I hear people say they have a $200 a month clothing budget, I don't think I spent $200 last year in clothes. Next thing I want to talk about is utilities. So with your electric bill and your gas bill and all that stuff. So number 3, with the electrical or gas or any other type of utility that you're going to use, there are a few things that I do. Now, first of all, it's the whole thermostat thing. Right now, specifically, I'm enjoying a time where it's not cold enough we really have to have the heater kicking on much, and it's not hot at all. So it is cheaper to heat here. So when I look at that, I'm saving a whole lot of money, but it's about the thermostat. So in the winter, you want to set that thermostat as low as you can, and in the summer, you want to set it as high as you can. And I really went to extremes where I completely cut it off, like switched it off and tried to keep it off 2 or 3 months in between winter or summer. And sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. I used to even track that. I used to get a daily log and track that, but yeah, that was a bit of an extreme. I understand that. There's also, if you're a homeowner yourself, you have to understand if you want to put in a new air conditioner or a heater, you put in a new system, you may save a whole lot of money. And the thing is, you want to do a cost-benefit analysis on that, but the reality of it is if you already have like a 30-year-old system like I did, my cost-benefit analysis was very easy. I was spending $300 electric bills in the summer, and I ended up saving on average $100 a month. I ended up saving $1,200 a year. It cost me $3,700 for a new system. So in the end, I was caught back up in 4 years. That's 8 years ago. So 4 years of cost savings and cost benefit definitely was worth it. Okay, number 4 way to save money on my list is definitely going to garage sales. Now, this is something that I was ashamed of and embarrassed of when I was younger and as a teenager, and now I'm actually proud of it. I'm proud for a lot of reasons. The first reason is the majority of the stuff I buy at garage sales. So say when I bought my grill, That was only like 20 bucks for a really nice stainless grill, and it doesn't match this picture, but whatever. I really liked that grill, and I paid $20 for it, and it really worked out for me. But that would have been a $300 grill at the store. My wife brought this up because my wife is frugal with me, and she pointed out that we are actually recycling. So these things would have gone to the dump or been trashed for one way or shape or another, and we gave it extra life. So if you think about going to garage sales and you think about doing these other things I'm going to talk about, recycling is also part of it. Also, when you think of the product end of use. Now, I really want to point out the downside of garage sales is if you end up buying a whole lot of junk you don't need and you bring it home and clutter up your house with junk you never needed in the first place, that you got to be careful not to do that. When you go to garage sales, you need to kind of have a handful of ideas of what you need to buy in mind when you go garage selling. And you know what? That's a lesson I learned the hard way. So next I want to talk about thrift stores. And thrift stores, well, the whole concept is similar to going to garage sales or yard sales. But the big difference about thrift stores is they do have overhead because they have a building, they have to pay taxes or whatever. And some of them are nonprofit, so that's not quite an issue. But the reality of it is that to pay people to be there and all of that. So the price is going to be higher on the stuff. So you can expect to spend a little bit more on stuff that you buy at a thrift store than if you were to buy it at a garage sale. The plus side of thrift stores is that they're usually open at least 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. They have product on the shelves all the time. Garage sales come one day whenever someone randomly feels like doing it. So there are some pluses and some minuses, and thrift stores seems to be several around in my area, and you can always go to one. Hey, there's not always something you need there, but sometimes there is. So my number 6 on my list here is private label. And private labels, usually I think about food when I'm thinking private label. And the first thing I want to point out is if you get a private label, which in this case is First Street, but if you get a private label, it's generally made by the same manufacturers as the brand name. They make it cheaper and a little bit different ingredients, lesser quality ingredients, of course, not the best, but I always get private label, and you know, it's one of the things I do, and I budget my money. And this is the Market Pantry. This is the Target one right here. And this one, hey, wherever you go, they seem to have their own private label brands. You know, also you have Great Values, the Walmart one for sure. You got a Kroger one on here, something else. So I look for the private label brands, and you know what? In some cases, they don't taste a whole lot better. They don't even taste as good. And you have to balance that for yourself. Like, what can you handle? What's your threshold? And what can you deal with as a private label? Also, when you look at private label stuff, something like toilet paper, toilet tissue. I mean, you don't really need to go buy the more expensive stuff when you can get a good deal. Next, I want to talk about some coupons. I still use coupons. So next on my list, number 7. I think this day and age there are more coupons in existence than there ever have been, because you still have the print coupons. You get them in the mail, you get them in the paper if you subscribe to a paper, which actually I am against subscribing to the paper, but my wife makes me, so we have to pay for that. But with these, you also get digital. So you get cell phone on your cell phone or whatever, and you can get that coupon and just let them scan it at the store. So they're more abundant, more available. You can find them online all the time. Or you can just have the old school, old-fashioned paper one, which actually I prefer to have it in hand because sometimes, for whatever reason, I can't find that coupon online while I'm checking out. I also love even using coupons when we go out to eat. And most of the time, hey, you're going to get a free this or that when you go out to eat. I don't go out to eat very often, but when I do, I almost always have a coupon. Next way I like to save money is I like to shop online. Now, there's several things about shopping online. And first of all, let's shop online as if you're going to a garage sale or a thrift store online. Well, Facebook Marketplace is one of those places. And I didn't even know this existed till several years ago. I guess I was behind the times in it. And it just kind of seemed like garage sales were starting to dry up. And people were telling me, hey, check Facebook out, Marketplace. Not always a great deal, but sometimes it is. And I think right now, when you look at it online, Facebook is kind of taken over for what used to be my favorite was Craigslist. Now, Craigslist is a great site, but now it's kind of getting taken over by some scammers. I'll probably make another video about that, but it seems like everything I post on there, I get calls from scammers. I really do need to make a video. So you can still use this site, but never ever get scammed, because I can tell you all of the scams that are going on out there, because they always try them on me, but it never ever works. But this is where I usually find used stuff. I mean, there's some stores that actually do advertise their store and their inventory on there, but the majority of it is just local people, and I definitely don't advise buying stuff through the mail on Craigslist. Because there's very, very little protection. Wouldn't give any of my personal information out other than where we would meet up in a public place. I've got to go into all that in another video, but the reality of it is that I still use Craigslist today, just not as much as I used to. And of course, there's Amazon, and just like with there's Amazon, there's online Walmart, online Target, or online all those big box stores out there. But I'm going to point out Amazon simply because this is an online only kind of deal, and well, they're trying to switch their having some stores and stuff, but the reality of it is majority online. Now, with Amazon, sometimes you get a good deal, sometimes you don't. It seems like most states are actually taxing Amazon now, and Amazon used to be a great deal because you could get something tax-free if you're ordering a $5 item or $500 item. You save $50, and that's no longer the case. But it's still, you can find stuff a lot cheaper now. Some of the things I've ordered off here that I saved a lot of money on is maybe some batteries or some other stuff like that. Some electronics, some stuff like that. Also on Amazon, but be careful because there are certain things on Amazon that are drastically more expensive than anywhere else on the planet. Number 9 on our list of saving money is cell phones. Now, this may sound crazy and silly. A cell phone is not a necessity either. In fact, a lot of people think it is, and nowadays with everything saying, hey, there's an app for that and that and that and that people are thinking they really have to have a cell phone. But in the reality of it is, you don't have to have a cell phone. I can do 99.9% of the stuff I do on my cell phone on my computer. In fact, I could probably make a call. I know I can text, so there's really almost no need for a cell phone. In fact, I don't even keep mine in the same room because I just don't care. But I have been using my cell phone I use them for about 4 years at a time. I'm almost hitting 4 years with this one. I'm going to see if I can take it 5 or 6. But I only spent $180 on mine. I don't spend $1,000 on it. A lot of people spend $1,000 on their cell phone, and you know what I find? I find that I'm using my Samsung Grand Prime I paid $180 for almost 4 years ago, and I see someone pull out their iPhone 11 Pro they got a month ago, and it's cracked, and they can't afford to get the screen fixed because the insurance policy on it, from what I understand, because I've never had to use it, is it still has a $150 deductible, even if you're carrying insurance, which is ridiculous and insane. Which is almost what I paid for my whole phone. I paid $180 for my phone. Doesn't make sense. I don't buy these $1,000 cell phones. I get 4 or 5, 6, hopefully 5 or 6 years out of my phones before I have to get a new one. And when I get a new one, I just look for the next lower end. I also, with this, what I'm doing is staying a generation behind, or 2 or 3 generations behind. And everyone can do it. The reality is each upgrade has some slight, small modifications. There are very few large leaps and jumps, and with the 5G coming out, that may be a thing, but I'm still not too worried about it. Okay, number 10, I am a huge advocate for doing it yourself. If there is something out there, a task that you can tackle, I try to do it myself as much as I could. Now, there are some cases where you need an expert's involvement. I would suggest that with, say, your garage door springs. I wouldn't tackle that myself. But when it comes to stuff like painting your house or painting a wall, I could paint a wall myself. I can do a lot of that stuff on my own. In fact, I've done that. I've painted some doors and I touch up paint around here. But the reality of it is that's a pretty simple task that you could learn. It's just very redundant and it does take a little bit of skill, but you can develop that by practicing. Next, I had to fix my washer. Appliances. I have fixed 7 different appliances I've owned and got more life out of them and probably doubled or tripled the life. So because I repaired it myself, and I've in the case that I know it's unfixable and it's still under warranty, thank goodness that I know enough about it to know whether or not it's fixable or unfixable, and if it's under warranty, just get a new one or whatever. But my washer did go out, I did fix it. I did use a YouTube video right here. These YouTube videos are great for accomplishing tasks such as that. Also, working on my car. Now, things like starter or my alternator, changing my spark plugs, and a handful of real simple things I do myself on my car. If it gets too deep, I'm not rebuilding the engine. I'm not swapping transmissions. Some of those really heavier jobs need to be done by a professional, in my opinion. I would not be trying to rebuild a transmission on my own. I wouldn't be using a YouTube video for that either, because that is much more complex and it requires stuff that I don't have. So let me know what you think about all my cost-saving measures. Do you have some great ideas to save a little bit of money? Can you share? Because I would love to hear it. Guess what? I'm always looking for another way to save a buck. Like, subscribe, Financial Investment 101.